Tonight on the Black Channel. Well, now it all comes down to this. Who's going to the White House and who's going to the outhouse? The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program, well, it's not exactly the Thriller in Manila or the Rumble in the Jungle. Not exactly that, but it is getting ready to go down. In our never-ending mission to make sure that everyone is on the razor's edge of how to analyze events when they unfold, it is not enough to be able to talk about what happens after it occurs. We have to be able to actually predict what is going to happen with a very good degree of accuracy. But you have to be able to analyze the factors. Now, why is this important? What they will try to tell you, and remember, they were telling you that presidential debates didn't matter. Remember? Yeah, they were telling you that, they don't really matter. And then after Biden gets knocked out, they reminded you again, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. You start taking a look at factors, and there are certain factors that tell you certain things. And when you start analyzing those, you start realizing how things are going to match up. Please remember, Donald Trump has ended the political careers of not one, but two Democrat frontrunners at the presidential debate. He's ended not one, but two. He's a veteran of 6 presidential debates. So this man has a wealth of experience where that's concerned, whether you like him, whether you don't. Kamala Harris has spent the better part of the last month and a half hiding from anything that even resembles a television camera that could ask a question. And she's been trying to get by on vibes. In my opinion, that is a horrific strategy to use when you are going up against someone who is extremely experienced and you are denying yourself any and all experience whatsoever. Here's the issue. The issue is that Donald Trump can say things, Donald Trump can make a gaffe or whatever. He shows up in front of the media. He's been in front of the media so often now that you're desensitized to it. So if he says something that you don't agree with or whatever, you've already heard him say it a dozen times before he got to the debate. So emotionally, you're over it. For her, it'll be her first time doing it. Whatever she says, if she makes a slip up, if she makes a mistake, if she looks bad, this will be her first time. Everything's going to be about that. That's the difference. If she had been doing interviews before now, she would have had an opportunity to get her legs under her. That is, of course, if you believe she can actually do that. Therein lies the problem. So you actually cannot overstate this debate in reality. And based on my analysis, it is Trump's debate to lose. I am not a Trump supporter in that manner. I have no dog in the fight to that degree, but simply taking a look at the mathematics of it. You cannot fight better than you've practiced. Kamala Harris has done no practicing. I'm talking about real world live fire. She's done no practicing. She's been talking to folks behind the scenes, and it reminds you of Ronda Rousey. Kamala Harris is not lost on Kamala Harris that a little over a month ago, she was the most unpopular politician in America. That means that nobody wanted her. She is excruciatingly aware of this. Have they been coaching Kamala Harris to win a debate? No, they haven't. They've been coaching her not to lose. So what they've been coaching her to do is to be very, very careful. They understand that once she gets there in front of the man, it's going to be a different ball game. So they've been coaching her not to win, but they've been coaching her to not lose. I bring up Ronda Rousey from the UFC because you'll all remember Ronda Rousey when she got knocked out the first time. Everybody and their mama saw what it was and knew what it was. Everybody and their mama saw it. She got flattened. And when she did try to come back, you could see what was happening. When she walked out there into the octagon, she was not her usual cocky self. She was not her usual aggressive self. And it was very clear from the moment that they started trading blows that when she got in there against Amanda Nunes, she wasn't fighting to win. She was fighting not to lose. She was fighting to not get knocked out again. She wasn't fighting to beat her opponent. She wasn't fighting to make something happen. She was fighting to prevent something from happening. And that's not the way it works. Kamala Harris's trainers have given up on the idea that she's going to be able to land anything seriously. So they have spent all this time coaching her on how not to lose. They've just spent all this time trying to prepare her how to not lose. And that's not the way you prepare someone. And I can speak from a position of authority. I have been to many debates. You all hear me all the time and whatnot. I understand what it takes to win an argument. I understand what it takes. Kamala Harris, they claim that her coaches have been trying to train her how to get under Trump's skin. Don't you think he's ready for that? What are you going to say to him? Trump's from New York. What do you think you're going to say to him that's going to get under his skin? What are you talking about? However, what they're really telling you is, we don't think we can beat Trump. Our only strategy is to get Trump to beat himself. Which, by the way, he has a track record of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That could happen. But that's a hell of a debate strategy to be using, isn't it? That you don't think you can actually win. You're hoping you can make your opponent beat himself because you don't think you actually can. And what I'm saying is that doesn't work if you're going to go in there with a bunch of preloaded lines and zingers you're going to use. The reason why going in with prepared jokes and prepared zingers is an issue is because it robs you of your ability to think spontaneously and to respond spontaneously. That's the problem. Barack Obama didn't beat Hillary Clinton because he had prepared notes. He beat Hillary Clinton on his feet. Ronald Reagan didn't beat Jimmy Carter or Walter Mondale because of prepared statements. He beat them on his feet. Bill Clinton didn't beat George H.W. Bush because of prepared statements. He beat him on his feet. And Donald Trump did not beat Hillary Clinton because of prepared statements. He beat her on his feet. Kamala Harris has not given herself any experience responding to a hostile situation. I'm talking about from an emotional standpoint. We all see that she gets very easily flustered, very easily stymied because biracial disease. Just saying, no hate, but to all our light-skinned friends out there, some folks are conditioned to try to please everybody, and that's who you really are. So when you're in an emotional situation, you're going to respond with what you usually resort to. She usually resorts to trying to please everybody. So if she finds herself in a situation where she's being put on the spot and she has to respond with something that the notes didn't already give her, now what? What is she going to do then? You know, when Trump hits you with something that the notes didn't give you. See, here's the issue. The strategy that they're going to try to give her, mark my words, when you watch the debate, mark my words, this is what you're looking for. They are going to tell her to be aggressive. They're going to tell her to take shots at Trump. That's what they're going to do. Now, this will not be like the 2020 debates where she could tell Mike Pence, I'm talking, because just like with Trump and Biden's debate, the microphones will be turned off if you're not the person who's supposed to be speaking. So she won't be able to use that tactic, and they tried to lobby to change the rules so she could do that. Well, now she's going to have to stand on her own 2 feet. You won't be able to draw Trump out. You're going to have to speak on your own. Here's the issue. Trump has taken decades of practice at taking shots at you. He's going to say some things, and even if you say that's not true, he's going to say something with conviction. Even if it's false, he will say something about you with complete conviction that is going to force you to change the script. You can't just leave that statement there unanswered. Folks, if you're in a presidential debate and somebody sits up here and says, you know, I saw you filling on little children behind the bleachers at the football game, but back to my tax policy. When it's your turn to speak, you can't just sit up here and say, well, you know, your tax policy is something there to absolutely, it would wreck the middle class. You can't do that. Hey, he just said you fill on little children. You can't leave that there. You can't ignore that. You can't do that. You're going to have to stop and say, wait a minute now, about that little children thing here. So do you see what I mean? You can't do that, especially if it looks like it landed. If it looks like it's something plausible or something with credibility, you can't let them say that and you just keep going. So that's the problem that you'll have. The problem that you'll have is if you're going out with prepared statements and prepared notes. Oh, and let me give my speech. By the way, she wanted to be able to take notes with her. That's a bad sign. She wanted to go take notes. That's a bad sign. So when you take a look at this on its feet, when you take a look at this on its face, the odds are overwhelmingly in Trump's favor, not because he's so fantastic and so great, but simply because he's given himself a lot more experience and she's given herself none. I want this to be an abject lesson to everyone out there. I want this to be an abject lesson to all of you, not just for the politics of America, but for your own personal politics in your life. You're going to have a lot of people tell you that you don't need to think on your feet. You're going to have a lot of people encourage you not to be quick-witted, not to be responsive. In Kamala Harris's case, you're going to have people during all of your most valuable formative years telling you that you can get by on looks. Damn! Or that you can get by on being light-skinned.
Auntie, chill!
or that don't worry, you can just wiggle your hips and appeal to the men around here.
Nigga, please.
And what I'm saying is that when that's the way you have lived for decades, and now you're at a point in your life where you're 60 years old and you can't rely on that anymore, you actually have to bring some skill with you now. After decades of not having it and not needing to use it, and now you're going to have to take a crash course in competence? That's going to be a pretty heavy lift. That's going to be a pretty heavy lift to be in that kind of situation. That's going to be heavy. When you take a look at this on paper, it is Trump's debate to lose. And as I informed you all, that is exactly the manner in which things are going. That is exactly the manner in which things are happening right now, because the polls are doing what I was informing people and warning people was going to be the thing you were going to see. The polls are doing that. They're starting to swing back here in Trump's favor. So the whole post-Biden bump and all that stuff running around, the bloom is coming off the rose. They're coming back to reality. And here's the problem. If Kamala Harris had spent the last month and a half getting people used to her incompetence, giving herself the opportunity to have a bad interview and then come back and correct it, or have a bad interview but then come back and have a good one, give yourself more practice. If she had done that, she wouldn't be in a situation where literally this is like your 10th grade piano recital and this is like the finals of American Idol and all eyes are on you now. This is a hell of a situation to be in. Eyes have been on Trump the whole time. Now it's all eyes on you. This is your debut. All eyes are on you now. In the chat room, Dragon Ice and 82 Derek, I'm very glad you all weighed in on that. Very, very nice to hear that. I'm glad to have people who are authoritative on these subjects. And as a result here, let me go ahead and post the Zoom link for you so that you can go ahead and join us here and you can give us some of your insights there. They've been rather prolific. Speaking on that. So Dragon Ice and Derek 82 Derek, let me go ahead and put your pages here to the side. You've had some things you want to weigh in on here. You've been very, very concerned to make sure that you speak your piece on that. And I would be far from wanting you not to be able to do that. So here's the link to the Zoom in the chat room there for you. And we'll give you about 3 minutes to go ahead and sit back, smile, and dial. And you can go ahead and contact us here directly. And you can inform everybody about your special insights into this area. We'll give you 3 minutes to go ahead and do that. Also, just to make sure that you stay focused, we wouldn't want you to get unfocused here. No more commenting in the chat room for you, so you don't have to worry about that. We'll give you 3 minutes to go ahead and do that. In the meantime, you won't have to worry about commenting in the chat. We'll make sure you stay focused. And you got 3 minutes to go ahead and join us on Zoom. Those are the only two I want on Zoom. Everybody else, it's not your turn just yet. With Dragon Ice and 82 Derek, they have both been stomping their feet and demanding attention. They have a lot of insights they want to give, so we're going to give them the opportunity to go ahead and contact us and elaborate further and let us know exactly what it is that we are all too blind, too silly, too immature, too inept to be able to know this for ourselves. This is interactive radio, by the way. This is not YouTube video. This is interactive radio with an emphasis on the active. In any case, while we're giving them time for that, presidential debates are important, people. Presidential debates are actually important. Here's the reason why. Ronald Reagan went down in history. JFK went down in history. Bill Clinton and Barack Obama have gone down in history because of their ability to articulate on behalf of their constituency, on behalf of their issues, on behalf of their policies. That's a critical thing, is to have a competent spokesperson. A person who is able to not be a one-hit wonder. Somebody who can actually hit the road and go out and actively campaign and promote the policies that are in your interests. That's very, very important. Donald Trump has been an excellent promoter for MAGA. He's been an excellent promoter for it. That's not a one-night stand. That's not a one-time thing. Kamala Harris has wanted to go and have some cheerleading sessions, but only when it's safe. And if your advocates will only speak when it's quote-unquote safe, don't expect to have anything advocated for you. This is why most black politicians are useless to us, because they only want to talk when it's safe. And then once they get behind closed doors, California, reparations, then they start selling folks out. So in that regard, character matters. We're going to go ahead and get over here on Zoom. I see Derek here on Zoom. We're going to give him a moment here to go ahead and mount up on that. All right, Derek, we have you there on Zoom. So you want to give us your insight, sir?
Yeah, I think, like I was saying that I think Kamala's gonna easily win, because it's like, she's she has a prosecutor background, and Trump is, all the criminal records that he has. So I don't see how there's even a chance. It's like a recipe for disaster. So it's simple like that. So
where's that? Where is that accent from?
Oh, Toronto.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's not a where, though. That's a geographic location. So where are your folks from originally?
Oh, Barbados.
Thank you, because that's not a Toronto accent. That's a Caribbean accent. That's not a Canadian accent. It would be French or English, but you don't have a French accent or an English accent. That was a Caribbean accent. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we settled that there first before we went any further. So now you're not even an American citizen.
No, not an American citizen.
So
but I do follow politics.
Okay. You're not even an American citizen. So can you please explain to me what is it that Kamala Harris has done for you that's so great? Because your statement was not critical of Trump. The statement you made in the chat room was very laudatory of Kamala. So what is it about Kamala that you like so much as a Canadian citizen?
No, it's nothing that, about who I like. It's just what I think is going to happen. Okay.
Kamala, what is Kamala?
Prosecutor.
What has she shown you that leads you to think that? What have you seen specifically?
Well, she does make strong arguments against Trump. I mean, she has she talks about his criminal, like I said, his criminal background. So
you keep repeating the same thing over and over again, but you're not. So I think you can't say that you heard that during an interview. She's given no interviews. So how did she have you so spellbound about this? All the things you're naming are things that only happened this year, and she wasn't speaking about it before the last 45 days. So what is it you've heard? When did you hear her get your attention in such an incredible, profound way in the last 45 days?
Well, 45 days? No, I wouldn't say anything towards Trump. No, not in the last 45 days. But I mean, in terms of her background being a prosecutor, like I said, I mean, I think it's just a recipe for disaster. Because it's not like he just has one criminal record or two, right? So it's a lot it's an easy target. That's what I think is going to end up happening.
Well, let's be clear about
unfortunate.
Let's be clear about a few things here. And I'm no friend of Donald Trump, and I've already done a program about this in particular. They went back and changed Donald Trump got the Negro treatment. They went back in New York and changed the laws to allow retroactively for this kind of thing to be done. So let's be very, very clear. If you're uninformed about the actual specifics of that, in reality that occurs. As far as campaign finance is concerned also, that's another area right there that, by the way, they've come up with a very novel way of interpreting the law in that regard. If they're going to do that across the board, Trump's going to have a whole lot of company if you're now going to try to make that form of campaign financing activity illegal and in a criminal way. If you're going to try that now, then you're going to have a lot of other people. But then again, they're not going to all the others. So, look, I understand the political witch hunt when I see one. Trump certainly didn't have any problem fueling one for the Central Park Five. So, turnabout's fair play in many regards, but I'm not going to call it for something that it isn't. I recognize what it is. Tell me, what exactly has she done that you are supportive of?
I'm not, no, definitely not supportive of Kamala Harris or anything. It's just that it's what I think is going to happen tomorrow, and everyone will see. Everyone will see
but you haven't said anything. But you haven't said anything yet, except, well, Trump's got a bunch of convictions. You haven't told us a positive about her yet. And what you said in the chat room, I have to remind you, what you said in the chat room was she's not going to lose the debate. So can you please show me where you've heard her speaking? Because this is why I keep asking you, what is it you've seen as far as her speaking that gives you such confidence? Because she has literally been hiding since the moment Joe Biden stepped down. So what is it that you've seen that nobody else has seen?
It's nothing what I really see. And I think it's all, I think the whole thing with the whole Joe Biden stepping down and her taking his place, I think that was all a strategy, I think. I think they're lining up Trump, and yeah, like I said, y'all see tomorrow. He's
not saying anything. You think the whole Joe Biden thing was what?
It was a strategy for sure.
A strategy from whom?
Yeah, from the Democratic Party. Definitely, that was planned for sure. To do it at that time.
So you're saying that the Democrats conspired to remove Joe Biden
at the time? Yeah, exactly. Because Trump thought he had Biden where he wanted him.
Okay, now did Trump think that? Did Trump think that, or did Trump have him where he wanted him?
No, he did. He did have him where he wanted him.
All right, and what you're saying is that now you think that they made the right decision then?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
So you think that Kamala Harris is going to do a better job than Joe Biden did?
Probably, yeah.
Okay,
probably.
And once again, can you please show me where you have seen in the past that she has demonstrated that she will, or that she can?
Well, in the past, she was a good vice president, so she was a better vice president than Trump.
Right. But we're talking about
Trump was
debate. We're talking about debate and public speaking. So, previously in debates, what has she shown that really impressed you?
On previous debates, no, I haven't been really following that, but okay. I just think Trump is he's the one that's been a president before, and he hasn't done really a great job. So I think that's where.
Okay, explain to us as a Canadian citizen why it is that you think that Trump, quote, didn't do a great job as president. What were you observing from Canada that led you to think that?
COVID, yeah, that's for sure.
No. He
messed up COVID.
No. How? Messed it up. How, sir? Messed it up. How?
Him letting in, not taking precautionary measures to stop the spreading, or at least not. He allowed it to get worse than what it could have. It could have been something that was
okay. So you're saying that? Can you
explain?
Tell us exactly what he did that did not contain it from spreading. Please tell us.
Apparently, he did something I think a year before COVID.
Where are you trying to get these talking points from? Because these are not coming from your own.
No, these are sources.
This is not coming from your own memory.
Sources that I've read.
Thank you. This is okay. No. This is not coming from your own memory or your own observations. You're just reading talking points from some politically motivated source. What you're not doing is stating an actual fact yet. You're just naming talking points. Now, let me show you the difference between a fact and a talking point. This is a teaching moment for you. When COVID first happened, and I should know, I was on the West Coast in both Seattle and Los Angeles when they first hit down, when the first case hit America then. Donald Trump was already putting out the warnings about that. He wanted to close America down. If you'll remember, he wanted to stop all flights from China. Yeah. He wanted to stop anybody from China entering the United States. Nancy Pelosi, and you can go look this up for yourself, she said that's xenophobic. Chuck Schumer. That's xenophobic. We shouldn't be quarantining Chinese people. You shouldn't do things like that. That was what they said when Trump had no problem. He held a whole press conference. We're going to quarantine anything from China. You know, a travel ban for anybody from China. And it was Nancy Pelosi first. The media refuses to remind people of that. Nancy Pelosi was the one who said, don't do that. Chuck Schumer, waddling right behind her. Now, what I just gave you were not talking points. What I just gave you were facts.
Yeah. And
now,
also, I think...
So tell me one more time what it is that Trump didn't do as far as stopping the spread of COVID again. Tell me one more time.
Taking precautionary measures in terms of like security.
Trying to quarantine
organization that he
okay, but
I don't know if he cut back on the spending of it or something like that.
Cut back on the spending. Nobody who cut back on spending.
Yeah,
I think, sir, where are you coming up with this from? Where'd you get that? Where did you get that nonsense?
No, I read it, but I just cannot remember the.
You can't remember because it didn't. You can't remember because it didn't happen.
You can see that he.
Sir, you can't remember because it didn't happen. The federal government went on the damn spending spree.
I think it was the disease control. I think something like that.
Sir, the federal government went on a spending spree when COVID broke out. We had unprecedented amounts of unlimited spending. The stimulus checks actually started under Trump. We had unprecedented amounts of spending, personal protective equipment. He was the guy.
Same thing here in Canada.
Half the respirators in the hospitals or the emergency respirator inventory we're supposed to have as a nation was not working. So he was going to violate their patents to build more of them. So nobody was prepared for a pandemic. Now, I'll go ahead and I'll go to one more step here. What is it that, if you think that Trump mishandled it, and by the way, that was his last year in office, his last 10 months in office. Well, you can give it 12 if you want to. What did Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do so great after those 12 months?
After those 12 months? I would say, well, they did in terms of, Biden was the one that kind of like restored everything back a lot quicker once, because he came in while COVID was still going on. So I noticed when he got in office, everything, started to speed up in terms of recovery.
He restored things back like quicker and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, well, like you could say, the so-called jab. I don't want to go there, and maybe with the mandates and all that, I don't agree with the mandates.
I was about to say, so you're going to tell all of us that you think that the vaccines stop COVID. So that's what you're about to tell us.
I think that sped up the process of things. I don't know about stopping COVID, but at least uplifting the mandate to help to get things back to normal.
You think the vaccines helped anything?
Me, I don't know. I'm not gonna say health wise exactly.
Okay, 100%, sir, you're making a contrast between Trump and Biden. If you're gonna say that Biden did something, I'm asking, what did he do? Yeah. First thing you named was the vaccines, and all I'm saying is, exactly. So you're saying that the vaccines helped something?
Yeah, basically, without the vaccines, I think it would have took a longer time for them to want to say.
Okay, sir, do you realize that Dr. Anthony Fauci, who should be on trial for crimes against humanity as we speak, he is now coming out and has admitted, sir, apparently you're very slow on this part. He's already admitting now that, the vaccines did not stop spreading. They didn't stop the spread of it. They didn't stop the duration of it. They were certainly hopeful for it, but this is the only thing we had. He has come out recently now that he's being grilled and has conceded that all the criticisms that were being made of him pushing those vaccines, that they were correct, that it came from a lab most likely, and that he was sitting up, that his activities were allowing that. He's doing the best we could. Everything you're saying right now, Anthony Fauci himself is no longer standing by. He's not even doing this anymore, but you up there in Toronto are. So I got to tell you, and I appreciate the fact here that you've at least tried to stand on your square on this. But sir, why don't you tell everybody what your real reason is for supporting a woman that you barely know and saying things that you don't even have knowledge of? Why don't you say why don't you just come on out and just say what the real reason is? Just keep it real.
Well, the thing is, I think Trump should, number one, Trump shouldn't be, deserving of being a president or even running for the race. Number one.
Why not?
I would like to see, I would like to see a woman like, at least win for the first time. And yes, she does have. I know she has different ancestries, like in terms of being Indian and.
Oh, she's got one in common. She's got one in common with you. She's got one in common with you. She's got one in common with you, sir.
And she's a woman, so that's
sir. She's got one in common with you.
Reparations too.
Okay, sir.
Reparations, yeah, that's another one.
Sir, we do not talk over the host.
Sir,
she's got something in common with you now, doesn't she?
Yeah, because she talks about reparations too. She actually mentioned it.
Yes, sir. When she mentioned reparations, what did she say?
I know she said that she would like to. She understands, like, where it's coming from, but
okay, sir, that's a lie.
She doesn't have the power,
sir. What did she
try to say, sir? In a divert way,
sir, you know that you're in. You know you're in trouble for being dishonest, sir.
No.
When Kamala Harris was asked about reparations, she said, "You expect me to do something just for black people?" No,
that's not what she said. That's not what she said,
sir. That's literally what she said.
No, that was no.
So what you're gonna do is just sit here and lie to everyone, and act like that never happened.
No, she didn't say that at all. She actually just said that she would like to help, but.
Sir, when did she ever say that? When did she ever say I'd like to help? When did this lie occur?
Basically, when she was talking about the why?
No,
when? Why we deserve reparations?
When, sir? When did she do that?
It was an interview about a week or two ago.
An interview a week or two ago with who, sir?
I can't remember the
okay, y'all.
I don't know if it was CNN or.
Lie.
I cannot remember what it was.
Sir, do you understand that that's not a very good look right there? Do you understand that's not a very good look to
Yeah, but at least she had concerns. I never heard Trump
but sir, you're fabricating things she never said. She never said anything.
Yeah.
She never said that.
Yeah.
That's why you're sitting up here making something up now. She never said that. Never. That's why I'm asking you about it. She never said that, sir. Not at all.
Yeah, and I don't think she has the power herself to it's just kind of like how Obama got, a lot, had a tough time, with Congress because of the color of his skin. So this is kind of like the same thing,
Sir, when folks go around and make up things like that, do you understand something? What you're really doing is hurting yourself.
I've seen the sources though.
No, sir. What I'm saying is that you're really hurting yourself there. Do you recognize that? There's my whole thing about that. When Kamala Harris's supporters have to do this, that's a bad sign. Did you get that?
No. All I say tomorrow we're gonna see.
Okay, sir, stay where you are. No.
So if we focus on the specific,
because he sat here and said Kamala Harris did not say this.
Yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one.
Black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen. The reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country.
Now, I think you said that she didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I just played her saying it.
Yeah, but she doesn't mean that she's not against reparations, though.
Sir, we just sat here and played her saying, "You expect me to do something? I'm not going to do something just for black people."
No. Basically, she's trying to say helping helping, like, in terms of reparations, helps the entire economy.
Sir,
which she is right.
you just sat here and said that she
Reparations does
did
help the
not
entire
say
economy.
that.
Helps
And
everyone, though.
sir, I have now presented you the proof that she said exactly what you claimed and lied and said that she didn't say.
Yeah.
I just played
But
I just played it for you.
Yeah, she says she doesn't just want to help Black people, but reparations that doesn't mean that she's not going to be for reparations.
Sir, when she talks about LGBT and illegal aliens, she doesn't talk like this.
Yeah.
When she talks about LGBTs and immigrants and illegal aliens, she doesn't talk like, she's never said that
they're
sentence.
Not asking for reparations though, so that's
they're asking to go to the bathroom with your children. They're asking to break and enter into a country that's not theirs.
They were doing that before her.
And they still doing it. And she's sitting there applauding them and saying, "Let me hold the door open for you."
Well, it doesn't matter who's in office. That's they're going to try to do that.
But sir, what does matter is that if you're trying to support somebody, you claim you're supporting them, and you have to lie to do it. That's when you destroy their credibility. Because if you're a Kamala Harris supporter and you can't even be honest about it.
No, I'm not a supporter. I just think she's going to win. That's all I think.
Sir, you are a supporter.
And I would like to see her win.
You just told us that you thought the Biden administration Trump did a terrible job, and the Biden administration does some great things. And in reality, I just played for you. No, she's not in favor of reparations. That's a lie. I just played the proof of it. And you're not taking issue with what she just said. You claim, well, that's not really what she means. Yeah, we're playing it for you. And he's still claiming, don't listen to your lying ears. Listen to me.
Yeah.
So you're telling us that you're telling us that we shouldn't listen to Kamala Harris. We shouldn't listen to her with our lying ears. We should listen to you instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Because,
Well, everyone, we should not listen to Kamala Harris. Don't listen to her. Listen to Derek. If he's telling you this is the way it went down, this is the way it's going down. So don't let your ears.
You'll see tomorrow, though. Don't
let your ears get in the way. Okay, well, tomorrow. Derek.
A lot of the Trump supporters will be disappointed tomorrow, unfortunately. But don't say I didn't warn you guys,
Well, thank you very much for standing on your square there in that regard here. I guess we'll see how things go. If he's as correct about that as he was about Kamala Harris's statement, I don't think that's going to be a good sign in your favor, sir. Thank you very much for giving us a call. So, yeah, y'all, I know what you mean. I know what y'all going through. Yes, this is why you have the Black media. This is why it is so important. This is why it is so critical. Yes, all of y'all, when you heard him say she didn't say that, you were jumping up in your seats and saying, damn, where's the clip? Where's the clip? It's so damn infamous now. You can find it on YouTube without even looking hard for it. I'm just showing you all how to easily shut those things down. He very, very quickly there. This is why you have to become informed about these things. This is why you have to know about these things. You have to become informed. You have to know. You have to be very fluent in it. Yeah, I hear the voice. I also hear the accent. Nothing wrong with having the accent, but I'm like, that accent, if it comes with some off-code behavior, I know where this is going. So just say it just like it is. Well, Kamala is one of us. Who cares what she's undermined? Who cares what didn't happen here? If you really get him to be honest, what he'll say is, yes, she's one of us. She from the Caribbean, we from the Caribbean. Now, as far as him being simptastic and talking about, she's a female, okay, whatever. All right. And he's all the way up there in Canada. It's like, okay, what's your dog in the fight? You are too emotionally invested in this. Way too emotionally invested. We know where it's going, though. We know where it's at. But I'm glad we had an opportunity to do that. So he won't have to worry about getting removed. Dragon Ice. We don't see Dragon Ice. So apparently Dragon Ice has not had the same intestinal fortitude. So Dragon Ice will not be joining us. Maybe if they get some credibility and principles about them, we'll see what happens here. But once again, this is why you have the Black media, so that we can have these conversations in public. So that we can have these conversations in the open and in public. So when disinformation and misinformation attempts to get spread, we can shut it down immediately. And then you all can hear what the real motives are. You can hear what the real motives are. And furthermore, Because here's my thing about it. Now, I want to take a moment here to go ahead and articulate this a little bit better here. Here's the point. Remember the reason why it is critical for the black media to be interactive, and that's always been my thing. I've always been here about being interactive, is because you all would have read that statement in the chat room, and psychologically, you're going to read his words in your voice. There's the issue. You're going to read those words, but you're going to read them in your voice. You're going to read them in your voice. You're going to read them with, the accent where you're from. You're going to read them like it's your next door neighbor or your uncle talking. That's the way you're going to read his words if you read them in a chat room, because you don't know what the person speaking actually sounds like. So you're going to make all kinds of assumptions about the credibility of it. The great thing about what we do here is if these folks are allowed to come in and speak for themselves, like as soon as he talks, it's like, oh, wait a minute. All the credibility flies out the window. That doesn't happen normally. Going back and forth with people in comment sections. Jason, you ban folk in comment sections. I damn sure do. If they call up, that's one thing, but I'm not going to let you sit in the comment section and make folk think that you're from our background speaking like that. No. Let me get you front line and then see if everybody feels the same way when they're done. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with you not being from our lineage. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I got a bunch of folk who are not, folk on the team, folk on the squad. It's all good. It's all legit. But even they will tell you when they hear of some off-code stuff happening, that's where the issues come in. It's like, okay, what's fueling that? What's motivating that? And then when you hear them in their own words, they don't sound nearly as articulate as you thought. And then when you start grilling about questions, oh, they're not even remotely informed. Yeah, that's what they don't want happening. When you turn on the white supremacist corporate media, what happens? They bring out Joy Reid. They bring out Byron Donalds. They bring out a bunch of folk who are known quantities. They're not too smart. They're not too capable. And then they get to sit there and babble in front of the damn cameras, and that's why you all don't pay attention to them. The audiences are tuned out because nobody wants to see that engineered, propagandized, staged stuff. They want to hear real questions. When somebody says something stupid and weird and funky, they want to hear somebody take that to task. If it actually happened, they'd have to shut down their whole networks or just turn them over to us. But this gives you a little bit more of an idea of why it is essential that we have the black media like we do here and have an opportunity to have these kind of conversations so that we can bring it out in the open, something that wasn't happening 20 years ago. What you just saw here, that wasn't happening 20 years ago. Roland Martin damn sure he's not going to have that conversation 2 decades ago or 2 minutes ago. That doesn't happen. But if it actually did, if you heard this kind of exchange on a regular basis on your cable television and the news sites and the news websites and the social media, everything would change radically, which is why YouTube suppresses the channel, shadow bans us, everything else. It's like after the exchange you just heard, that was it. Anybody who wasn't agreeing with us got converted within a matter of minutes. They're not going to go around cooning, acting like Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens or anything. Just a couple of minutes of hearing that right now, it's like, yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, yeah, and one more thing there in the chat room there. Thank you very much to the sister there who said that. This is how you debate. Yeah. Hadia, thank you very much there. And that's how you debate. Yeah. Don't look for Kamala Harris to do that at all. Don't look for that to happen. I have a feeling that, tomorrow night's going to be very pivotal in that regard. Speaking of which, there's something else I want to talk about here. I do want to go into this here because last week we were talking about California reparations and how the Legislative Black Caucus in California sabotaged their own bill. Believe it or not, Bowling Ball Martin actually spoke to State Senator Stephen Bradford about that. Yeah, I got some thoughts on that. And I am going to get into that. However, before we do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. My man, Mr. Chadwick, thank you very much for your support. Brenda, thank you very much here as well. Onan X Mogul Mays got a new member with E305 there. Of course, they've been around for a minute, so thank you. Teddy B, John Guillory, everybody else here, thank you very much for your support. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we're going to review that little conversation because Senator Bradford there, well, everything is not quite what it seems. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. This is the Black Channel.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jason Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.
Hi, I'm Mr. B, and I welcome you to visit my website, mrbtheteacher.com. Explore our site for my latest book, my blog, and podcast that are packed with insightful articles, tips, and strategies to help students navigate the educational journey. Need more help? Check out my education consulting and tutoring services for engaging lessons, downloadable resources, and personalized learning plans. Please join us at mrbtheteacher.com today. Thank you all for listening.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the anchor man of the new black media, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And as promised here, Roland Martin. I guess he decided that what happened in California was just too big, too blatant, too inexcusable. There was just no way to hide from it or whatever. So Roland did an interview with State Senator Stephen Bradford. And I want you all to hear some of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing, although it was an in-depth interview. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I want you to hear some of what they said, and you're actually going to be surprised. I think you're going to be surprised at some of what you hear.
There were 14 bills that were introduced that were considered the Black Caucus, Legislative Black Caucus priority bills. There was a few more that weren't deemed priority, but the ones identified for the caucus that we.
Okay, let me back up just a little bit here because I want to get this in its proper context because I want you to hear what Roland had to say. By the way, fair use, Roland, fair use. You can go take this to the Golden Corral at the buffet.
I saw all of this play out. I said, well, I knew who was sponsoring the bill, and so we reached out to him. He joins us right now to explain what in the heck happened in California. You've seen him on the show numerous times before. California State Senator Stephen Bradford. Again, he authored the bill, was on the task force, so he joins us right now. So, So, Senator Bradford, first of all, so explain to people how many bills there were.
Okay,
There were 14 bills that were introduced that were.
We don't really need to know how many there were.
Extension of the Crown Act, the closure of grocery stores, notice.
The Crown Act, closure of grocery stores. So just anything and everything they voting on, they're going to claim that's reparations, which is garbage.
I should say, for the closures of grocery stores and pharmacies. And I just don't have the rest of them in front of me, but those that stuck out for sure.
All right. So then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. And this is a video here of one of the activists who was speaking outside of the assembly. Watch this.
The bills up now. These are their bills. They have their names on the bills. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Now, listen, they gonna see this and they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills, then they gonna get mad at us. They killing their.
You all saw me play this video last week.
We don't care.
We need to send a message
the goddamn bills up now.
The governor needs to understand that the world is watching California, and this is going to have a direct impact on your friend, Kamala Harris, who's running for president. This is going to have a direct impact. So pull up the bills now, vote on them, and sign them.
We have
We've been waiting for over 400 years.
All right. So. And again, so this was another bill here. They were talking to, this was another video. They were talking to Lori Wilson outside the chamber as well. All right, what happened? You make it clear, you had the votes. What happened?
I got notice when I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago at the Democratic National Convention by Chair Lori Wilson of the Black Caucus. I'm the vice chair. She pulled me to the side while I was in Chicago and she says, hey, we've heard word that the administration might have problems with 1403. That was the only bill that we heard, 1403. Again, that was the foundation for standing up the agency. And I said, oh, that's news to me. No one from the administration has contacted me.
So State Senator Bradford said that Lori Wilson told him a couple of weeks beforehand that, hey, there's a problem with the bill. Now, please remember, they had been sitting on this thing. All this was finalized like, what, a year ago? And then they wait until the very last minute to say, oh, there's a problem with it. Well, what's the problem? Well, the governor doesn't like something in it. That doesn't sound like a problem to me. But what he's saying is, oh, well, see, what happened was 2 weeks before, I'm in Chicago, and they contacted me to say there's a problem with it. Okay, so what we're saying is that State Senator Bradford knew about this 2 weeks prior, is what he's saying. He knew about it 2 weeks before that. Because I know some folks are out there supporting him and things like that. What I'm saying is, there are some things that my ears perked up about during this interview. And I'm going to let you all hear it for yourselves.
And I says, what might be some of those concerns? And she wasn't specific. And so I did what I naturally would have done. I picked up the phone. I called my chief of staff. I called my LES director and asked them, were they aware of any of those issues? And they said no. And upon my return on Friday, we had a Zoom meeting with the director of finance for the state of California. And he explained what those concerns were. Joe Steppenshaw, who's a stand-up guy, and he just said, hey, Mr. Bradford, under these tough budgetary deficit year, we have some problems with standing up the agency, and we just have some concerns. No time did they say they were going to veto the bill. They just said we had some concerns, and they were going to offer up some amendments. He had nothing concrete at that time, so I says, hey, let me see what you come up with, and we'll consider it. And fast forward to the next week, Monday, this past Monday, we were on the floor because we were in the last week of session, so we were going late every night. By the time I got a notice from my chief of staff and LES director around 5 o'clock, they said, we have the amendments, and they're saying, I'm recommending you not take the amendments. And that was our position. We felt the amendments kind of like watered down the bill. It created a study. So we said no to those amendments. And
well, so everything that we've been warning everybody about the whole time, he said that Gavin Newsom, they wanted to have some amendments, and they wanted the amendments. You saw how he ran past that last part. They wanted to study, and we weren't going to do that. Another study. Yeah, let's not do the Freedmen's Bureau. We've already studied all this stuff here. We had a study, and okay, you said Freedmen's Bureau. Let's have another study, though. How about we amend it and say, we're going to make a study of it? Exactly what we warned everybody, exactly the kind of thing we were looking out for the whole time. So now he's conceding, oh yeah, we wanted to change. They wanted us to change it and make they put pressure on us to amend it so that it would be a study. And we didn't want to do that. Okay, well, the next step, of course, is we'll send the damn thing to his desk and force him to veto it. Don't worry, folks. It gets stickier.
We were going late every night. By the time I got a notice from my chief of staff and ledge director around 5 o'clock, they said, we have the amendments. And they're saying, I'm recommending you not take the amendments. And that was our position. We felt the amendments kind of like watered down the bill and it created a study. So we said no to those amendments. And I think that's pretty much what got us here today, because again, but no time did the governor or anyone in his administration say we're going to veto the bill. So the fear of a veto, I believe, caused members to say, let's hold the bills.
Okay, so here's what I don't understand. If you pass it and he vetoes it, that's on him. By shutting it down, now it's on them. It's on the Black Caucus. And so I don't understand. I mean, you're a legislator. The governor has the right to veto bills. You pass the damn bill and then go, all right, let's see what you're going to do. What?
Damn!
What? 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 What?
Y'all? Did Roland Martin turn off them flicks long enough to find some backbone and some identity here? Is this the same Roland? Did somebody kidnap his big ass and replace him with one of us? Who is that in his chair? Who is that? Somebody explain to me. Who is it? Oh, he compensating hard now. Can somebody figure out who kidnapped Roland and replaced him with somebody talking like us? Because he sure don't sound like Black Star Network. He sounds like the Black Channel. What in the world, y'all? What happened? It must be his twin brother snuck up in the studio. Got to be. It can't be him. Not him talking like this. Oh man.
Caused members to say, let's hold the bills.
Okay, so here's what I don't understand. If you pass it and he vetoes it, that's on him. By shutting it down, now it's on them. It's on the Black Caucus. And so I don't understand. I mean, you're a legislator. The governor has the right to veto bills. You pass the damn bill and then go, all right, let's see what you're going to do.
I agree. We vetoed our own bill in essence. I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years in the legislature, and it's not the first time. I worked with Governors Schwarzenegger, Brown, and now Newsom, and they've all at some point I've had a bill where they say, hey, we got problems with it, and let's see if we can fix it. And we either come to agreement or we don't. I had a bill last year dealing with social equity with cannabis, and his point person on cannabis met with me and says, hey, Mr. Bradford, we got problems with the bill. We want you to take these amendments. And I looked at him and I said, no, I can't take them. And we moved the bill to his desk. He signed that bill.
Okay, let's be very, very clear about that social equity and cannabis thing. And by the way, I did speak to Rick Ross about that in my new documentary, 8 a.m. Me and Rick spoke specifically about so-called social equity there in California. Now, granted, I did speak to Rick right when the pandemic was starting off, but that was the whole issue that we had. They keep saying social equity, and they tried it out as if that was going to be for black folk because we were the ones targeted for marijuana use and distribution. So the social equity thing was supposed to be okay. If they were targeting us for it, we need to be restored for that if that's going to be legal. And the next thing you know, a bunch of white folk get all the licenses. a bunch of Armenians and Italians, and everybody else gets all the licenses. So unless you're going to go back and go pull their licenses and go distribute them to the folk that y'all were locking up for this kind of thing right there, that don't mean nothing. So when you hear them talking about social equity for cannabis and stuff like that, please remember what the issue actually is. Now that you know what the issue actually is, are they going to address that? Is that, and take a look at how many years it's taken. But by the way, are they going to go back and retroactively address that? That, hey, by the way, all these black folk was locking up, those are the ones that need to be getting them licenses. Is that what they talking about? Is that what he sat up here and got Newsom to sign? Because I don't think so. I don't think that's what it was. So I want y'all to know the trick bag up in there. I hear what he's saying. I want y'all to know what the trick bag is of it, though. The trick bag is you're assuming, oh, that's for black folk and things like that. No. It's supposed to be, but when you go take a look at what they've actually passed, you need to go check the pedigree. Check the paperwork. Might come back dirty.
4 years ago, as you well know, I was a joint author on NIL. It was tremendous pressure for that bill not to reach the governor's desk. From Emirates of NC2A, everybody was saying, hold the bill, don't get it to his desk. We got it to his desk. There was also a threat of a veto there. But what did he do? Not only did he sign it, he signed it on LeBron James' show The Shop. So
Gavin Newsom, in other words, what you're saying is that he used that for a photo op. Obviously, it wasn't that serious. He used it for a photo op. Clearly, this situation was a whole lot more serious.
The threat or even this saying that you have trouble was no reason to hold this bill. So I'm just disappointed that it didn't get to the finish line because we were there and we had done a vote.
We were there. The only name he named was Lori Wilson. That's the only name he said. Lori Wilson, that was it.
Vote count on my both of my bills, all three of my bills, and we were standing at 50 plus votes.
So here's where I'm confused then. So if you had the votes, so what happened where it didn't move forward? Like so you're saying that the California Legislative Black Caucus as a body, they're the ones who stopped the bill from moving forward?
They expressed concerns of not bringing it up on the floor.
They, he keeps saying they. This is why I told y'all last week, name some names. Name some names. If it wasn't you and it was a they, not that this damn vague, innocuous they, damn they. If it wasn't you, name some names. We need to know who it was. Name them names. Let's put them out there so we know exactly who it is. If you refuse to name names, you with them. And by the way, for those of you who might be thinking, some of y'all play the game, niggas. Some of y'all folks would do, just play the game. Well, Jason, he got to look out for his political future. Actually, he doesn't. By the way, he doesn't even have a political future excuse to hide behind here. Why ain't he saying the damn names? Don't you understand when you getting played? I'm too sophisticated to fall for that one. But yeah, they. And nobody ever tells us who this vague, innocuous, intangible they is.
And so, I'm a member of the caucus. I got outvoted and my bills were held.
I'm a member of the caucus and I got outvoted. Outvoted by who, damn it? Outvoted by who? If this was your bill and this is your baby and this, that, and the other, outvoted by who? By the way, I just said it's your bill, it's your baby. That's actually a misnomer. Shouldn't say that. He's going to explain to you why.
Here's what I'm confused. Go to my iPad, Henry. So
Roland, you sure you want to do that?
What?
Oh, Roland, I don't know. Did you check the playlist on the iPad this time, Roland? Before y'all just snap right over to it. Don't just jump to the iPad, Roland. Check it first. Check it first before you have the man switch over. I'm trying to help. Yeah, Roland, I don't want you to get caught up. So you was real quick with that. Go to my iPad. Wait. Jason's over here. Stop. Pause. Check the iPad first before you do this. Have we been cleared? All right, cross your fingers or use a different iPad. Might be a new iPad you're using, so I don't know. Maybe I'm getting nervous for no reason. But I'm just like, oh, wait a minute. He's like, go to my iPad. Wait a minute, don't go to the iPad. Here, why don't you use a Samsung?
The Black Caucus as a body, they're the ones who stopped the bill from moving forward.
They expressed concerns of not bringing it up on the floor. And so, I'm a member of the caucus. I got outvoted, and my bills were held.
So here's what I'm confused. Go to my iPad, Henry. So they released this statement here on August 31st, and they said there's been interest regarding the status of Senate Bill 1403. The caucus was unable to participate in the legislative process collectively and only recently became aware of the concerns and issues with the bill. First of all, what the hell does that mean? That they were unable to participate? I'm sorry, y'all, that task force, they've had hearings, we've covered.
Okay, now what I want to do is I want to switch over here to the video. Roland apparently is safe for work again. I want to switch to the video so you all can see State Senator Bradford's response while Roland is saying this part. What the hell does that mean? I want you to see his response on this and how he's looking.
All of that task force, they've had hearings, we've covered it, we've had the co-chair on. Where in the hell have they been?
And again, I wasn't made aware of their problems with the bills until last week, again, when I was in Chicago, by the chair of the caucus.
So wait a minute. You're literally, aren't you the co-chair of the task force?
No, I was co-chair of Legislative Black Caucus. But
No, I'm sorry, but you were working with the reparations task force, right?
I'm following the guidelines and the recommendations from the 1,100-page report, yes.
Right, but I say you were part of that process.
Yes, I was, for 2 years.
They were aware that process was going on, right?
Yeah, for 2 years we had.
They were aware that bills came out of that 1,100-page report.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, when did you first put the bill together?
I introduced the bill. I did a gut and amend last year.
When last year?
I think like July.
Okay.
What? So, yeah, over a year ago. We got the bills in over a year ago. Oh, we didn't know there was a problem a year. They've been sitting there on them for a year. Oh, he's rough on us out here. While they're running around and lollygagging and going to their country clubs and their boule brunches and their fish fries and their chicken shack meetups and whatnot. Then they come back a year later. There was a problem with it, as if we're all stupid enough to believe that.
So you mean to tell me, from July 2023, the other members of the Black Caucus, until August of 2024, they didn't say nothing about the bill until right before it's going to hit the floor to get passed?
They mentioned some concerns about the bill at the first part of this year, but again, in May, they all signed on as joint co-authors of the bill. And the language hasn't changed from the time.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold up. They signed on as joint co-authors of the bill in May. The language hasn't changed. And now all of a sudden in August, hold up, we got some issues.
Yeah, after Governor Newsom gave them a call. Yeah. Right after they realized we wasn't going to back off of this, and Governor Newsom gave them a call. That was when they realized they had a problem with it.
Yeah, it's the same bill because I didn't take the amendments. I can understand if I had taken amendments, but I guess you're saying they weren't aware of the amendments. We weren't aware of the amendments till, like I say, after 5 o'clock on Monday of this final week. And once we had a chance to digest them and look at them as my staff would do, we sent them out the next day or the day after to every member of the Black Caucus. We sent those amendments out and showed where we had concerns with them.
So I go back to their statement. In its current form, one of the primary concerns with the bill is that it ceded legislative oversight authority, which is critical given the generational impact this legislation would have. What are they talking about?
Seeing that it would take away legislative insider input and deciding what.
Now, you all remember we spoke about this before. They tried to say that the issue is, it would take away legislative oversight of it. Now, listen to what State Senator Bradford says in response to that.
And deciding what reparations, legislative insider input, seeing that it would take away legislative insider input and and deciding what reparations would be, or the task force, or having some. That's not the case, because again, this is the bill. It hasn't changed that they agreed to be co-authors on. So if it exceeded it today, it's exceeded it then when they signed onto the bill. The language has not changed. The language has not changed. And we were true to that. I've been an honest broker for all 25 years of my elected officials life, 14 in the legislature. And I don't hide the ball. And I show up every day and I do the work. And my bill had not changed. Again, I stood firm. I mean, for it to get out of appropriations, Assembly appropriations and Senate appropriations with no amendments on it, stated that it had a lot of support.
And then all of a sudden they're claiming, so now they're saying, oh, no, we're gonna make this happen in the next session. Really?
Well, I'll be gone. But,
What did Senator Bradford just say when Roland said, well, they said they're going to take care of it in the next session? Really? Did you all hear what State Senator Bradford just said?
Really?
Well, I'll be gone. But,
And you'll be gone because what term expires?
I'm termed out in December.
So in other words, even if you were against this behind the scenes and not being honest about this, Gavin Newsom knew he could count on you because your term limited. You won't be running for re-election anyway. So you're the one standing out front. And all of the theys and all of the other theys who you refuse to name, you ain't got no reason to run interference for them. If you're not running for re-election, to hell with them. Go ahead and name their damn names. You're not running for re-election anyway. And yet, I told you all this last week, he was chosen. Newsom called him up. Hey, you need to go ahead and do this here. Because remember, the video we played last week, what he was saying last week from the video at the Capitol was, there's an issue with legislation with the budget. It's a budget. The governors, they've indicated there might be an issue with, they're concerned about how you afford it in the budget. Remember, that was what they said. That was what he said. Now all of a sudden it's, we want to, we're concerned about legislative oversight. And he's like, well, the language hasn't changed. We fine with it. Okay, well, name the folks who don't really want to do that. Wait a minute, bruh. You're not even running for re-election. You're not even going. Talking about he ain't going to be there. That's fantastic. Can you go ahead and give us that list of them names who was against it on your way out so that we all know anybody else we got to send out with you? And he's not doing that. So I just wanted you all to understand, by the way, I pointed this out last week. I'm like, yeah, you're the one they sent. And I was like, Gavin Newsom is like, hey, bruh, you can roll what we doing or you could be out here another way. And then I found out now it's like, he's already on his way out. So you all know what this means, don't you? What? Gavin Newsom because old boy here looked like a more slender version of Willie Brown. Damn! So y'all know how it goes. Okay, get back over in this back room here now. Now look here, Stephen. Look here, Stephen. We've been through a lot of things here together and we appreciate that. And, if Kamala, when Kamala loses the election, if she loses, of course we don't, it's not like the fix is in or anything, but yeah, if Kamala loses, I'm going to probably be up 2028. I'm going to be up in 2028. And, if you want to move up the ladder there, might be a job for governor. Yeah, we might be looking at you for governor, U.S. Senate. There's other seats you can have there, Stephen. There's other places you can be. And me and Nancy Pelosi just knocked Joe Biden's old senile ass off. What? So there's no question what kind of stroke we got. So if we say you go into the Senate, you going. And if we say you're not going, you ain't going no damn where. Governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, U.S. Senate, U.S. representative. Damn! Y'all know how it goes. He's serving in the state legislature. Next step, congressional. But don't be surprised if you don't get any support out of us in Sacramento if you make things rough for us in 2024. So I just wanted to go ahead and point that out to you all. When you take a look at the math here, because somebody truly dealing in our interests would be saying what the damn names are. They need to be saying what the damn names are so we know exactly who the hell it is. The they me ass. If you're not saying names, you're covering for them. So we all supposed to just sit here. We done heard Lori Wilson's name, ain't heard a damn thing else beyond that, and didn't even put that into context. No, we just need to know, hey, was it everybody's? I'm the only person who did not vote for the bill not to move forward. If that's the case, you need to say that. I got outvoted. That doesn't tell us that you were the only one who voted for it. Because if it turns out you're the only one who voted for it and everybody else voted against you, we need to know, yeah, I was the only one who voted for it. Everybody else voted against me. Okay, now that's an answer. I got outvoted. That's not an answer. You leave that open to other folk claiming either rightly or wrongly that they voted for it too. That's what happens if we allow you to get away with that language. Everybody else is going to be able to lie and say they voted for it too. So you need to tell us who voted with you. Even if you don't tell us who voted against it, you need to tell us who voted with you so that we can figure out who voted against it. But he's not helping. I wanted to play that interview so you all could hear it for yourselves to hear. By the way, yeah, in case you were bamboozled or were deceived or whatever into thinking, well, maybe we didn't have a clear understanding or we didn't see it quite right or didn't quite know what it was, or maybe Jason, maybe we don't have all the information. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We sure do. If he knows he's already on his way out and whatnot, okay, I need you to go ahead and drop them names on the way out. We need to go ahead and tell us who the hell that was. Because they said, be talking about, we'll take it up in the next legislative session. If we have our way, you won't be there either. What you talking about, you'll take it up during the next session. If we have our way, you won't be in the next session. Go ahead and tell us who that is so we can make sure that when you leave the legislative chamber, they going with you. Those are the things we need to know. So yeah, y'all, old Roland Martin surprised us this week here, didn't he, boy? I'm telling you, he actually goes on longer because I think he talks to Julianne Malveaux and a couple of other folk there and whatnot. And they're banging on California, but they ain't really banging on the Democrats. They were banging on California and banging on Newsom a little bit, but not really banging on the Democrats. And there's the issue. This is not a Gavin Newsom issue. Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, you name them. There are none of these Democrats who are in favor of what we're talking about. I explained this to you all last week, but I'll go ahead and give you a refresher on this. The reason why the Freedmen's Bureau is actually a very important step is because that is institutionalizing our status. That right there is actually very critical and crucial and key. It can be used very effectively because it institutionalizes our status. There would be a state government agency that officially recognizes that there is something called the freedmen. We wouldn't even have to do what the red Native Americans did. You would have a legitimate government agency that recognizes us. You're talking about status correction, all of those mess. You have one now that officially recognizes our specific unique status. Even if they didn't lift a finger after that, the very fact that such an agency exists That right there legitimizes our status institutionalized in the government. Now, I'm not done just yet because State Senator Bradford actually says something else. By the way, this was released after I did my program. I want you all to hear what he had to say next, because when you get erroneous information from sources that just say wild, crazy things, and then they're claiming that, oh, this is what's really happening, and that's not really the state of it, or this is how important it is, and that's not really how important it is crucial and key that we have accurate information and that you have media sources that are calling it exactly the way it is. Very, very important to have that.
It has to be absolutely devastating, gutting. I mean, I don't want to, but it has to be really disappointing for you to be right there on the 1 yard line and having the votes lined up and the Black Caucus back out at the last second because of the threat of a veto from the governor, which you never heard directly.
Yeah, this is probably the most heartbreaking disappointment time experience in my time as a legislature. And again, you're taught early, don't fall in love with your bills.
You're taught not to fall in love with your bills. We are falling in love with survival. We are falling in love with empowerment. So for us, we are very emotionally invested in this. This isn't academic to us. This isn't political football. We are very much emotionally invested in it. So our viewpoints on this could not be more diametrically opposed.
I didn't fall in love with this bill, but I fell in love with what this bill meant to not only Black Californians, but Black America.
We fell in love with it. By the way, I just wanted y'all to hear that. But by the way, yeah, we fell in love with it. So I just wanted y'all to hear him from his own words, whether or not his perspective is lining up with yours. Is that the way you saw this? Is it, oh, well, Jason, we ain't really, just emotionally invested and married to it like that right there. Not really. If you all agree that this is not an academic exercise, this is life and death for us, give me the black fist emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's almost 6,000 people in here live right now, getting the insight and analysis you receive absolutely nowhere else. But if you all agree, this is not a football game to us. This isn't academic. This is life and death survival. Give me the black fist emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me.
You're taught early, don't fall in love with your bills. I didn't fall in love with this bill, but I fell in love with what this bill meant to not only Black Californians, but Black America. And I knew how important it was as a state and as a nation to get this across the finish line. We were there. And I'm proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of the work as we did as a task force. And I'm proud of the work that I've been able to do with members of the Black Caucus. But yes, to say that I was deeply disappointed at this. This is probably the most, shocking and, I don't even want to. It's been hard. It's been really hard because we were there, and I think we vetoed our own bill just because. And I understand. I want to work with the administration. And again, if the governor had or his administrative staff had indicated that there was a veto in line, I would still say, let's work with this, but I still probably would have moved. There's no doubt I would have moved forward with my bill. And I want to
explain
be very clear. The governor's administrative staff, as well as he, has been very, have them all done that same day. We had a 50 plus count. Prime example was 1050. They still brought up 10.
That's, well, I would love to hear, and we're going to reach out to the head of the Black Caucus. We'd love to hear them explain why they decided to get scared by a possible threat of a veto. And again, you pass the bill. If he vetoes it, he vetoes it. And then you have the opportunity to override the veto, correct?
That's true. We have a supermajority in both houses. But again, and we're co-equal partners.
Black folk gave y'all a supermajority in both houses. Vote Democrat, them old Republicans. Then we've removed that one and nothing changes. It's like, yeah, recognize who your real enemies are.
And government. So, I mean, we shouldn't no more acquiesce than the governor should acquiesce to us. We're co-equal partners. So we need to understand and appreciate our position as well, in this process. And, I was ready to move forward. I was totally committed to moving this package forward. It was a solid package. It was a package, again, that would have tremendous impact on California, but as a nation as well. I've been contacted by legislators all across the country.
What? Damn! What? Now, I stopped it there because I know what he's going to say next, but if you listened to me last week, Jason, you're blowing this up too much. You're exaggerating it. You're making too much of it. It ain't that big of a deal. Listen to State Senator Stephen Bradford for yourselves talking to Roland Martin. Listen to what he says after me.
Impact on California, but as a nation as well. I've been contacted by legislators all across the country who were following what we were doing, and they wanted to emulate and copy what we were doing, and was hoping that we get it done so they could do the same in their respective states. I mean, New York is setting up a task force similar to what we did here in California because of the work that we did in California. I think Oklahoma is looking to do the same as well.
It matters where you get your information from. It matters who is hosting. It matters who is interpreting the data. It matters who brings you news and information. It matters if they tell you that it is of this significance and this gravity. I said this last week. He said this after me. That, by the way, yeah, what Jason told you is correct. Everybody's looking at California because that sets a precedent. New York is looking to copy California's legislation. What? And he said, and even in Oklahoma, Jason talked about Tulsa last week. To put it in its context, this is bigger than California, but you knock down one wall and that makes it easier to knock down some of the others. Yeah, you're going to have some Ron DeSantis out there and whatnot. Yeah, you're going to have that, but I want you to understand when you can identify the markers of progress. I've told you for going on 2 decades, do not expect the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, or any of these other corporate networks to tell you when we're making progress. These bills would have been passed into law and you wouldn't have gotten a damn peep out of your corporate networks or your bootlicking, ass-kissing coon hosts on those programs. They wouldn't have put it in this context because their white bosses would have told them, your ass can be the first one to need some reparations because you're about to get fired. I said, if you're going to be able to mark the steps of progress along the way, we're trying to get 10 steps down the road, but how do you know you've made it even 3 steps? Hey, we're going to make sure you stay accurately informed. And I told you, we're making progress. It's not just California. It's happening in other places. I showed you all. By the way, nobody was talking about the fact that the mayor of Tulsa was saying, even after the Oklahoma Supreme Court tried to sabotage it, that, by the way, we're still looking at reparations. Yeah, because we ain't got off their necks, and we won't. Our persistence is having an effect. Our persistence is having results. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. And you're seeing the results. And State Senator Stephen Bradford just sat there after I told you all last week and confirmed, yes, what Jason said to you all is correct. I'm getting calls from politicians all around the country who are watching what happens here because they want to seek to replicate it elsewhere. Even in places where you all thought it was a dead issue. No, I don't have a cable TV network. No, I don't have a cable TV deal. No, I don't have a PhD from some Ivy League university. I can read, I can write, I can count, and I am viciously addicted to facts. And I can analyze them too. And I could tell you all, we're making progress. Yes, we are. And even in this situation, what's the old saying? Every setback is a set up for a comeback. And we are going to be uncompromising, but we will also be taking some heads on the way back because understand something, everybody who sabotaged this time around, if any of them are still there, they're going to be there to sabotage it the next time around too. So the mission only slightly morphs. At this point right now, paperwork check, nigga.
And deal with it, nigga.
Paperwork check. California Legislative Black Caucus, Lockdown on the yard. Paperwork check. What set you claiming? Hey, on that bill, what'd you vote? How'd you vote? Bradford's the only one said he said something. And you better bring some proof that you supported it. I ain't gonna take your word for it. You better bring some documentation. Otherwise, we're gonna assume you ain't legit. We're gonna assume you bogus. Paperwork check, nigga. Did he say nigga? I so did.
And deal with it, nigga.
Legislative Black Caucus in California, the mission is only slightly morphed. We ain't sitting here wringing our hands. It's taking it back to the street. Everybody line your ass up. Paperwork check. We checking papers. And we're not taking no splaining, and we're not taking some, well, brother, can you calm down for a minute here? Let me explain to you what about the process you don't understand. I ain't hearing a damn thing. Paperwork check. That's it. Y'all know how it goes down on the yard. You know how it goes down in the pen. Ain't nobody asking you why you got them particular charges. Ain't nobody asking you what them little children doing on your paperwork. Ain't nobody asking you what you was doing with them kids. The paperwork come back dirty, that's a wrap. You ain't got nothing to explain to us. You had your chance last week. You had your chance 7 days ago. You had a chance between choosing rolling with us or rolling with Newsom. You rolling with Newsom over us? Paperwork check. What set you claiming? We just want to see the paperwork now. We gonna just check colors from here on in. You ain't got a damn thing to explain. Paperwork check. Show your colors. No explaining whatsoever. Papers. Don't want to hear you playing. Don't want to hear the jive talk. Don't want to hear you flipping at the lip. Papers. And if you don't show no papers, we're going to, I lost mine. It's like, okay, that's all right. We ain't begging you for it. Paperwork checking. I ain't got it. Okay. You next. And that's the end of that. Don't even worry coming back to show us nothing. Cause when the LGBT show up, you niggas tootie up your butt cheeks to let them know what your paperwork is. They toot that thing up big when them folks show up. Every damn body else, all of a sudden, they Johnny on the spot. We show up and it's a bunch of excuses. No, I ain't gonna have it. Ain't gonna have it. Talking about the next legislative session. What the hell makes you think we're gonna let you stay? You see, if you had done what you're supposed to do, all of our focus would be on Newsom. Now, as it stands, it's like, we Newsom and you. We staring down Newsom and you. Everybody got to show their paperwork. Everybody got to boss up on their paperwork, period. No excuses. That's why he like, I'm getting up out of here. Yeah, he's happy. Although I suspect he thinks he's going to run somewhere else. State Senator Bradford, the paperwork check follows you. Let me be very, very clear with you, dude. Do not think for a moment here you can just dip out. Paperwork check follow you. Y'all know the deal? It follows you from one yard to another. Don't think you're going to sit up here and get out of San Quentin and you're going to go up to Folsom and you're going to be okay. No, your paperwork follows you. They ask for it on 1 yard. You show up somewhere else. Like, he done moved from the legislature to the state senate. Senator Kite. Hey, that Brown fellow over there. Hold on. He running for senate? No. Paperwork check. Hey, we over here on this yard. He ain't never showed us his paperwork. Now we got to get caught up on that. He a snitch. Somebody said he a snitch. Okay, we need to check the paperwork to find out. Is he a snitch? He's saying one thing, okay, but he ain't saying nothing to nobody else. No. Y'all know how that goes. You mess with them kids, you a snitch, you this, that, and the other. Okay, no. It follows you. Well, let me go PC up. No, ain't no PC. I'll be out of here. You sure? Okay. Let's be very clear about that. Going forward, these are the rules. This is what it's going to be. Period. They confirm for you all everything we've been saying here for over a decade. This wall falls in one place, it will fall. It makes it easier to fall everywhere else, and it will. And yes, it will fall eventually in Florida and Louisiana and Alabama and Arkansas. Yes, it'll fall in those places too. Yes, it will. They might be some of the last ones, but understand, once it starts falling, it keeps going like dominoes. It'll keep going. That's why they're fighting like hell to stop it in one place. So they're telling you that they would rather sign off on fighting the NCAA than to sign off on something as simple as setting up a Freedmen's Bureau. That Freedmen's Bureau must be far more consequential than name, image, likeness. Name, image, likeness was a big deal. This Freedmen's Bureau must be a gigantic one. Keep your eyes and your ears open because we will stay on the job. Paperwork check from here on in. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. My man, Mr. Richburg, as always. Thank you very much for your support, brother. We appreciate that. Keenan, Objective News Agency, Rashawn Bryson, everybody else here in the Super Chat, Dimsum HQ. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, all of my brothers and all of my sisters from all around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.